Thousands of students have gathered at the University of the Witwatersrand in Johannesburg protesting following an announcement made by Higher Education Minister Blade Nzimande on the 2017 fee increment decision. He announced that university fee increases should not exceed 8%. The students are not happy at all, taking to universities in different cities across the country, reigniting the Fees Must Fall campaign.
The media has been releasing one-sided news. They've been releasing one-sided views about these things of fees must fall. They've been saying that to our people that don't want to go back to classes, and it's very saddening that because some of the students around here, if you can check, most of the students who are here, they are the first generations to come to institutions, so their parents are still waiting for them. They're back at home to go back and liberate them. So now it's very saddening how these people are saying that we are just a group of hooligans and thugs, and they are criminalizing us.
I went to one of the best schools in Cape Town, and I was one of the hardworking students.
My name is John Gilmore, and I'm the founder and director of the LEAP Science and Maths Schools. And the purpose of the school is to create a no-fee paying school to children who are limited in terms of their choices as to which school they can go to by the fact that they don't have money. And this is a reflection of the mess of inequity in our country.
I met Phumla in 2014. I had the opportunity to work with her. She was a grade 12 student at the time. She was an absolute joy to have in my space. She was smart and funny, and she seemed very quiet when you first met her. But once you got to know her, you just found out that she had a wealth of information. She had wisdom beyond her years, and she wrote absolutely beautifully. I've never met someone at her age that could write so beautifully. So I was very excited about her prospects.
Phumla was the epitome of what any teacher wants in her class. Intuitive, painstakingly careful, never shortcut anything, always gave her best, and loved what she was doing.
Phumla was one of the people that always motivated us to be who we are, and she encouraged us to be the best that we can be. So Phumla has not only been like a senior to us, but she was also like a sister and a shoulder to cry on at times.
She was a quiet child, but a child who obviously showed that she wanted more in life. She wanted to explore more in life, and she wanted a better life for herself.
When I was doing matric, I got an acceptance letter from WITS, and yeah, that was the best moment in my life.
I remember her absolutely intense joy that there was a place to go to, that she had been accepted, that she was seen as being good enough.
For me, when Phumla said that she was going to WITS University, it was before like they got their matric results back. So I was very excited because we also wanted to go there. So being there with Phumla was like the best picture that we've ever drawn together.
It was very exciting because that meant that she was going to follow a dream. At the time, she wanted to be a journalist. And it was exciting that she was going to actually have the opportunity to study this at university. And the excitement carried through for a couple of months until the time where she had to then enter university. And I think that was a very difficult process.
I remember getting an SMS and an email from NSFAS and telling me that they couldn't fund me because they had many applicants and they had so little resources, so they couldn't pay for my studies.
That was possibly a very low moment in my life, possibly the lowest, because I was so useless at trying to put it right. I knew that I had to find help and I had to find it quickly. I networked as much as I could to try and get the best sensible help for her. But actually obstacles were put in my path everywhere. I felt as bad about Phumla being excluded financially as I would have if one of my children had been. She is one of my children, and it hurts, even today.
I was devastated. Someone that knew her, teachers that had worked with her, her classmates were devastated. People that knew her, both within her grade and below her, were devastated. And it was sad, because we knew that Phumla was capable of so much. And just because of funding and just because of the exorbitant fees that the university expected students to pay, she was unable to follow a dream. And I think after her journey at the school, after her journey through just her journey through everything, adolescence, through becoming a young lady, it was something that just felt unfair.
I was angry at first, like I was really angry. I was sad, like I had mixed emotions about this whole thing, because at first, like when she was going there, we were all excited, and then now it turns out to be an emotional thing for all of us.
She just cut out everyone on Facebook, and I understood that it was because of the frustration and not wanting people to be asking her about her whereabouts and everything that happened.
Not being able to go to school and ending up like my other 3 siblings. And I've always been the responsible one, the smart one, and now I was the disappointment.
I'm here because I'm supporting the whole Fees Must Fall movement, because I believe that it should be something that is really essential in South Africa, and that the money that we receive and the resources that we have should be spent on something very beneficial to everyone, which is, education.
So we're just basically there to remind them of our constitutional rights of free education that has been promised to us for quite some time, and they've been prolonging this issue. So now the students were saying that we can't go back to classes under these instabilities.
The Fees Must Fall social movement is an overdue movement. And it's my view that because the power that runs this country does not recognize their responsibility to deal with the inequality that exists geographically, economically, and it divides often on a racial basis. Because government doesn't recognize that, and government hasn't declared a state of emergency on that, young people are forced to declare a state of emergency. And they are forced to declare that state of emergency in a way that only draws attention when it becomes quite aggressive. And it is as though the cries and the silent pleas and the conversations of young people trying to hear their voice in a difficult mess have been ignored. And so for me, I understand that the rising up of these voices and the anger that is coming through these voices is directed at all of us for allowing a society that is so unequal, and it perpetuates and gets worse post-1994.
People were fighting for education, and they were fighting against Bantu education, and they got what they wanted. But the only problem is that after the democratic elections, when people were told that South Africa is now free. I think during that period and now, there's been a gap that needed to be filled by the generation that was supposed to be taking the bait from the heroes like Nelson Mandela, Steve Biko, and the others. So now, the people that are in universities now are struggling to get the education that they deserve in, because the people that were supposed to be leading that process of taking South Africa from an apartheid system to the democratic South Africa did not fill that space. If they had carried the same leadership that they had and the same spirit that they had of fighting for free education from 1999 until this period, I don't think we'll be facing the problem of fees must fall.
So 1994 was meant to be a turning point for us, where we would all focus on reconstructing and rebuilding a country that would create opportunity and hope for all. A better life for all was the kind of slogan. And in reality, what we've created is a situation that has steadily further divided those who have and those who have not. And because the racial mix has shifted, and so some black people now are rich, that kind of somehow justifies the inequity. The inequity is unjustifiable. It's inhuman and it shouldn't exist.
I support the movement fully because I believe that if they stop now and we do not get free education, then the next generation of young South Africans will also be suffering from the same thing, and we'll be having students that are being financially excluded from universities. And if we have students that are financially excluded, then I don't think the economy of the country, of which is what we wanted to grow, will not grow.
This is not just my story, but our stories. Please write music, make films, and document everything. Write, because we have to make our stories heard. ASINAMALI, ASIJIKI means we don't have money and we will not give up the fight. I'm not going to give up on my dreams because of finances, and I'm definitely not giving up the fight.